ברוך אתה ה' אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהכל נהיה בדברו. The Torah speaks about times when the Jewish people will go to war. Whatever the reasons are, there's going to be a war. Well, for a war you need soldiers. So you have to have volunteers. Or maybe you have to try to have some kind of inscription. Everybody has to, there should be a draft. Everybody's got to go to war. So the Torah says, there are 3 exceptions. What are the exceptions? Person who built a house and hasn't inaugurated it yet. He hasn't lived in it yet. He just built it. He doesn't go to war. What about a person that planted a vineyard, but he hasn't eaten of the fruits of the vineyard yet? It hasn't produced yet. Wait, don't take him to war. Let him first have something of what he did. Number 3, a person who already is engaged to somebody to marry, but he didn't consummate the marriage yet. The marriage itself didn't take place yet. Well, wait, let him get married first, then he'll go to war. But if he has not gotten married yet and he's already involved with this woman to get married, let him not go to war. A friend of mine, Rabbi Yochanan Zweig, who is the head of a very important yeshiva in Miami, he says, you know why these 3 exceptions are mentioned by the Torah? Because these 3 things really define a human being. Define a man. What is a man? A man has to have a home. He has to have a place of his own. You know, the wealth of most Americans really consists in their home. The things that you have, you keep in your house. All your material possessions, in a sense, are around your house. So that really defines a human being. You have your own home. Number 2, a vineyard means what you do to make a living. Your business. Everybody has to have a career. You have to have work. You have to do something in this world. You have to be able to make money in order to live. That's part of the definition of a human being. He has a home and he also has a profession. He has something to do in order to generate resources in order to be able to live. And finally, of course, a mate, a wife. Remember what Rashi says about the very beginning. It's not that woman was made out of a rib of man. No, God made a section, a vertical section of the first man. Half was man, half was woman. So when they come together, they really go back to their initial state of being together, man and woman. A man is incomplete without a woman. So the 3 things, home, profession, business, marriage, that's what defines really a man. So Rabbi Zweig says, this is why the Torah exempts these 3 cases, because they are the basic foundation of man. Yet, if you think about the times in which we live, the idea of home is being questioned, really. I remember reading about a person that in a boat, they rented a suite, and they live in the suite of the boat, and that's it. They have no other home. That's their home. What about Airbnb? You can go to any other country and somebody rents out his home and you live there. You don't have really your own home. Many people don't use a kitchen anymore. They don't cook anymore. They eat outside. The home is basically just to sleep at night. Most of the time they're either traveling or they're going. The home is no longer the same as it was before. What about your employment? Well, things are changing. We live in the digital age. Many jobs were lost. There are computers. Things that gave a livelihood years ago don't exist anymore. Things are changing. What about artificial intelligence? We're creating robots that do many of the things that we used to do. Maybe buildings will go up just by robots. Whoever took part in the building process will no longer be necessary. Have you heard of Elon Musk? He is the president of Tesla, the all-electric car. He's very much afraid of artificial intelligence. He thinks maybe we'll build robots that are much more intelligent than we are, and they will destroy us. we're really living in a very difficult age. There's some people who are saying, because so many jobs are disappearing, the state will eventually, and pretty soon, have to give each and every one of us a salary without working so that we can subsist. There'll be a problem. What do we do with our free time? Well, they'll have to somehow fill the time that we have and not fall into boredom or God knows what. What about marriage? Over 50% or 50% of marriages end up in divorce. What is marriage? It's no longer necessarily between a man and a woman. It can be man with man, women with women. It's changing totally. The idea of marriage, it's not what it used to be. So that the three items that really define man no longer do so. They are in constant motion, change. We don't know where this world is going to lead us. So I think we're living in very interesting times. We have to rethink what are really the most important elements that define a human being, because what we thought his home, his marriage, his profession are really what mold him, maybe that isn't so anymore. So what we need maybe is a little bit of divine intervention to give us new insights. We have to look to philosophers. We have to look to thinkers. How are we going to confront the new and brave world that maybe will be our future tomorrow, and tomorrow may be very soon?